Welcome to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast with your direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger. Badass Direct Sales Mastery is a podcast for rockstar direct sales moms who are determined to make their business kick ass. Jennie will share her knowledge of effective sales and recruiting techniques, tips to get what you want from your business, and will interview direct sales professionals and leaders from various companies. The interviews will give insight to how these rock stars got to where they are and where they plan to grow in the future. And now, the direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger.
Welcome back to another episode of Badass Direct Sales Mastery. I'm your host, your direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger, helping you whip your business into shape. And I have a really interesting guest with us today. Not your traditional network marketer or affiliate marketer, someone a little bit different. I know you're shocked. The girl with purple hair and tattoos is bringing someone new to you. So I am bringing to you Mark Miller. Now, Mark Miller is the founder of this safer, cleaner water system, and he's dedicated to helping health-conscious individuals to ensure that they have clean, healthy water in all situations for drinking water, cooking and cleaning, and especially during emergencies. And not only enough for one person's benefit, but also to be able to help others when there is an emergency, even if there's no electricity. Mark is the owner of Safer, Cleaner Water, and he is on a mission to help raise awareness around the importance of safe, clean water in all homes, given that water is our most vital, life-giving, necessary resource. Welcome to the show, Mark.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So you and I met networking, which I know my audience is not going to be shocked about because Jennie does a lot of networking. And when I heard your story the first time, I was like, that's interesting. And then we ended up in another virtual network marketing or networking room. And I went, I think I need to have you on the show.
Right. Thank you, too.
So what I'd love to know is, how did you get into this arena? Why safer, cleaner water? What made you develop this process?
Okay. Well, I'd been conscious of that for years because I was lived in a small town. My mom and dad, 11 children. I have 10 siblings. And it was a real small town of 300. So there was well water, and there was always challenges with that in different ways. And then as far as through the years, a lot of different reasons. But what really came to the point of really saying, this is something that everybody needs to look at, that I was in about a little over a year and a half ago. I was in a church service. It was a missionary presentation from Central America. And the missionary was showing how they had the ability to take water that was just filthy out of a stream of any kind and make it totally pure, where everybody there could have pure water in that village.
Ooh.
And one of the reasons they started that process is because the number one reason children were dying in those foreign countries and in that area was because of bad water. So when they took those systems in there and began to give them that pure water, the children were not dying anymore. They were healthy because of the pure water. And I thought, as I listened to that message and that story that the missionary was saying, I said, we live in a country of 300 million plus people, and hardly anybody is prepared in an emergency if something would happen, if the electric would go off. Where would you get your water? What would you do? So why don't I try to see if we can figure out a way to make it where everybody can have pure water no matter what happens? That was the beginning thought process. It wasn't something that was difficult. It's really simple when you get to the solution, but it's complex trying to get there and figuring out the best way to get to that point. So, and one of the things, to give you an example, a lot of people would say, what would you do if there was no electricity and you couldn't get any water? Well, I'd just go down to the supermarket and I'd try to be the first one there to buy the bottled water. I thought, well, that's kind of logical. But about a year ago, I went into a town that has a supermarket about 20 minutes from where we live. And just as I got into town, the floodlights weren't working. So I had an appointment there, and there was a Kroger supermarket right in front of where my appointment was going to be. And I got there a little early, so I just drove into the parking lot of the supermarket. No electricity, no lights. but on the door was a sign that said closed due to power outage. So how much water would you or anybody else get, no matter whether you were first or last?
Right.
First of all, they won't let you in. Secondly, if they did, they can't take your money because there's no way to, so
Right, exactly. There's
right.
no electricity powering the payment system,
That's
the cash
that.
machine, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So, there's no way you can't
Right.
swipe your credit card if there's no power.
Right.
If there's
So
no power, think about most grocery stores now. The
right.
doors are electric.
Exactly. That's
You
right.
literally can't even get in unless you can A, unlock it, and then B, manually know how to get it open, right?
Right.
Without
Right.
breaking the window. I mean,
So
come on.
yeah, so that was one of the things that just kind of put a cap on. And then as I began to collect the simplicity and communicate with different places, the people that would be servicing me say, "Well, I've never seen anybody looking for something like that. What is this for?" And I say, "Well, premature before I even had all the answers." I said, "Well, I want to make it where people could have pure water for life, and I need to have this and this and this to make that happen. I just want to see if you have what I need." Well, tell me more about that. And then I would tell them about it, and they say, "Well, I've never heard anything like that. Surely, is it expensive?" And I said, "No, it's not going to be expensive. It's going to be where you can buy something and, bottom line, never have to buy anything else and have pure water for the rest of your life." Well, that's worth a lot then, isn't it? And I said, "Yeah, that's true." So, yeah, and just to make a note right there about that, the system that we have, the 3-in-1 solution that we'll talk about later, it actually has the ability, if only 2 people use it for the drinking water, forget about all the other water you want for cooking and for anything else.
Right.
If only 2 people use it for drinking water, instead of having to buy bottled water, that would save them 300% more than what they paid for the system in one
Wow.
year. And that's just the drinking water. All the other water's free. So when you look at it from that way, if somebody, for example, if somebody just use any number, somebody said, "I'm a financial consultant, and if you give me $300, I'll make it 900 by the end of the year." If you really believe that and you really had the experience, would you say, "Sure, how many times could I do that?" With this, we're not asking you for that money. We're saying if you can purchase something that will save you that much money and make you that much money that's saved in the years, that's the same difference? And the answer is yes. So it's like having water insurance, having an assurance that you're always going to have pure water for life.
Oh my gosh, I love that. So, the thinking around this and the connection I want to help the audience make is you thought about a problem that people maybe haven't begun to think about, which is really interesting because you and I are recording this about a month, maybe 6 weeks after a couple of hurricanes hit
Right.
parts of our country that ended up causing places to be without electricity. There was major flooding, issues with people getting water. And so, places were having to ship in bottled water. There were no grocery stores, and
Right.
people had not planned, did not have these things in place. And so now this is something that, it's a problem that when you first thought of it over a year ago was obviously was happening from time to time, but it really became public knowledge. And
Right.
I live in the Midwest. So I know I'm not the hurricanes by the time they get to us, they're just really bad thunderstorms. They're
Hmm.
not taking anything
Right.
out. But what we do have in the Midwest that can cause interruptions with electricity, water supply, et cetera, are tornadoes.
Exactly.
Right. So
Right.
it's not just about hurricanes, it's tornadoes, it's
True.
any kind of natural disaster, earthquakes, et cetera, that could interrupt what's going on with the grid, that's going on with your locality, your community,
Right.
that interrupts your ability to have safe, clean water for you and your family. And so I love that you got a glimpse of where people were using this process, this solution in
Right.
another way, and said, well, what if we could do this for everybody? Keep it really affordable,
Right.
right? Because
Exactly.
I mean, I can tell you, I'm not going to lie, we've put a $5,000 water system in my house in the past. So a $300 water now, and it runs on electricity. It
Hmm.
has to be
Right.
plugged in.
Exactly. Right.
It
Right.
won't
And
work if the power's
right.
not working.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like, and right, you're in the right range. It's around it's like 397 with a $50 promo code that we will give you to share with all of those that you have and have contact with. So it's 347, and that's all you need. And that includes shipping to wherever you are in the United States.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Seriously, y'all. Okay. So obviously the point of this is not necessarily to sell people, but yes,
oh,
if the
right.
audience hears this and goes, well, hey, I think I'd like to have that, or that sounds like a good idea. Because,
Well, and
you
this is
know,
it, right? This is the other part with the 3-in-1 solution that we have. Why do we have 3 different filters? That one filter that serves the emergencies in those foreign countries and like in Helene or wherever the hurricane is or whatever challenge, that is something that will take care of up to 150 people per day for drinking water. I mean, up to 300 people because it'll do 150 gallon per day. So you have up to 300 people you can help have pure drinking water no matter how long it lasts, even if it was for life for everybody.
wow.
And that is a filter that can be backwashed, so you never have to replace the filter. The manufacturer guarantees it for your life.
Wow.
That's the first filter. The second filter is tap filter, that where you may want more water when there is electricity and there's water running through your tap. That was
Hmm.
up to 500 gallons per day, and that also never has to be replaced as a filter because of the same system. The way to backwash it with pure water that came through, and now it's pure. You reverse the thing, and you put pure water back through it. Now it's clear. And then the third one is a pitcher filter that will do up to 2,000, purify up to 2,000 gallons of water before you have to replace the filter. So that means that one person could have that for 10 years without having to replace the filter, 2 people for 5 years, etc. So why do we have the 3 filters? So that was the purpose of my
Hmm.
explanation. That's because we're spoiled brats in the United States. a
But
lot of a lot of people say, I never thought of that, or I'll get it sometime if I think about it, whatever. But they never get to it, and then the emergency comes, and they don't have it.
right, exactly. Well, and I think it's important too that if you have the availability, if it's within somebody's budget to do it, then it makes sense to go ahead
Right,
and get all of that, right? And on the business side, of course, it's the opportunity. Yes, you saw one problem and 3 different ways to solve it,
right,
right?
exactly. Good way,
And so on,
good way to say it. That's true.
well, and because the point of my podcast is always to try and help the audience like figure out how can I take whoever it is that Jenny's talking to, take the
Hmm.
information they're sharing and use it for my business, right?
Right,
So, it's really thinking about what is the problem that needs to be solved,
right,
right? Now,
right,
because here's the thing. Every human needs water,
right.
right? We need it to live and survive. It's part of our survival mechanism. Water, food, shelter,
Exactly.
right? So, yes, can you sell to everybody? Absolutely. But if you
Yes.
try and sell to
Hmm.
everybody, it's not going to work. But
No.
you want to be mindful of who you're talking to, right? Now, anybody can buy your product, but you
Right.
can certainly market to a niche, which would be so what we've been talking about is people who live in a community where natural disasters such as hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes
Right.
happen and
Hmm.
interrupt water flow. That's a now one would think, well, that's everybody. Yes, and
Right. But there's also the health conscious, where
yeah,
they want more than just drinking water that's pure. They want it for cooking. They want it for everything else. Someone said the simplest way to think of it, you can live 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, 30 days without food. But if you don't have the pure water, you're not going to get to the food because it takes water to do the things you need to do with the food. So
yeah,
that's why we went with this solution that we have to actually take care of all those things. And even people that say, well, I already have a reverse osmosis system or whatever, that's not going to work when the electricity's out. It's not going to be running through your system. So you still need what we have to where you can know that you have pure water for life. So that's where we have the solution where you never have to buy anything else the rest of your life to have pure water for you, for your family, and for up to 300 other people in an emergency, no matter how long it lasts, and all the other benefits that come with it. It takes everything out, including microplastics,
mm,
including all of the things, the salmonella and all the bacteria, anything like that. And it also, with this third solution, the water pitcher, there's 2,000, we'll do 2,000 gallons. It takes out the chloride, the chlorine and the fluoride as well. So now you have everything out of your water that's pure, no matter what. That's what we created, and that's why we created it that way.
So what I'm hearing with that on the business side is you have found what differentiates you and your product
Right.
from the other products that everybody think is the same thing. Because one of your solutions is a pitcher solution.
Right.
Right. And so people have in mind the pitcher solutions that they're aware of and that they maybe even have already in their own kitchen, you know, and they go, well, what's the difference? Well, your differentiator is your filter lasts longer.
Exactly.
By like a lot.
Exactly.
You know,
right.
Because I've been one of those people before I purchased my kitchen system. I had the pitcher, you know, system and had to replace the filter like every 6 weeks or 6 months or whatever it was. I don't even remember because I've had my system for 4 years now. So I don't remember what the number was. I just know I had to replace it. And that was more money going into and I probably paid over the years a lot more than 300, 350, 400, 500, $1,000 over the course of my adult lifetime to access what I thought was clean and safe water, but yours is safer, cleaner.
Right. Exactly.
And more affordable.
And here's one little PS I never shared, but I think you would be interested in also those that you're serving. But recently I had someone talking to me that has a high ticket item and they want to give my system to those that purchase their high ticket service.
There you go. Right. So they're already building in the price of that to be able to offer it to their clients.
Right.
So smart. Right.
Yeah.
No, that works really well because, I mean, the business concept behind that is somebody sees value in it. My guess is, not knowing who has decided to do this, but they probably have some sort of health program or a health component to their high ticket program.
That's exactly right. That is the one.
So they found something of value that is relatively inexpensive for them to buy into, but it would provide support, value, more. It feels like an extra bonus.
They're going to have it for the rest of their life.
Right.
And the other thing, beside the pure water, it takes care of a lot of things. Think about 2,970 plastic bottles not being in the ecosystem because of 2 people use this instead of getting bottled water for the year. Think about the difference it means for that and all of the other things related to that. So it's not just water. It's what it changes in so many areas of our life, and you have it for life.
Right. Oh, yeah. So the business concept behind that, I love this, is the hidden benefits. So in this case, it's a hidden ecological benefit for those of us who have the inner hippie. And I laugh because I've been telling people for about the past few weeks, you know, my inner hippie is so happy right now because I just got solar installed on my roof.
There you go.
Like I've wanted solar literally for as long as I knew solar existed. I didn't know how I was going to get it, how I was going to make it happen, but I finally got solar panels on my roof, right? So my inner hippie is super happy because now I can help contribute to the electric grid, right? And with something that isn't burning fossil fuels, that is, you know, it's going to create electricity for a minimum of 25 years, but these panels will work for 30 to 50 years without much maintenance at all, you know?
Well,
on your end, the hidden back end benefit is not only the not spending money on the bottled water, because bottled water is not typically free for most people, right?
Right.
But it's also the ecological benefit of bottles not going into landfill, recycle programs, whatever. They're just not needed as much because you're going from, sounded like the number was really close to 3,000 water bottles instead to the amount of plastic that was needed to make your, you know, 1, 2, or 3 part system.
Exactly.
A lot minimal. Smaller than 3,000 bottles, because I know how big 24 bottles are in my fridge. Imagine that times 100
And here,
or a
right,
thousand
and
or whatever that number is.
here's two or three different ways or reasons people purchase. One purchased the system because they already had a reverse osmosis system, but
Hmm.
the mother said, "What happens if the electric goes off?" Well, I don't have it, so I want your system because I want to be able to have it. Another one said, "I like this because I live in a subdivision, and if something happens to the electricity, I could take care of all of my subdivision, just me with that one system." Another one helps people that are challenged physically, a masseuse for elderly people primarily, and other and some couple other things that she does to serve them. And she was giving them a glass of water and had to put a little lemon in it or something. And we want to bless you in the name of Jesus. She's a person that believes in Christ and loves Christ, and she said, "In the name of Jesus, I want to give you a glass of water to bless you." Well, when she purchased our system, she said, "I don't have to put lemon in it anymore." And they used to just drink a little bit. I give it to them and they say, "This really tastes good." And they drink it all. So, and there's others, one with a well having a problem with that. And one person that actually, the husband had brain cancer and only had a period of time to live, and they were having to spend $55 per month for water, bottled water, because he had to drink only water. So they were spending $600 a year for bottled water to take care. And we had someone to donate a system to that couple. He lived for almost exactly a year, so it saved them $600 by someone caring enough to do
Aww.
that. So that's just some of the ones that purchased the system.
I think that's super cool. Now, one of the things you and I talked about before I hit record on this is that
Yeah.
you also have a nonprofit, and I love the name of it. Tell us about the nonprofit that's part of your business.
Okay. Well, I'll give you the name of the nonprofit, but I'll give you what we call what we do with related to safer, cleaner water. When in our nonprofit, we have a water pool, and those that would desire can contribute and donate whatever they want, monthly or a larger amount or whatever, to the water pool. And we help those people that really need pure water that cannot afford it. And now they're able to actually help as many as 300 people. So 10 people that receive a system will help 3,000 people in an emergency that never would have it otherwise by someone that cared enough to just do something for them. It's UA Legacy Grants is our name of our nonprofit, and it's also designed to help those that are challenged in different ways beside the water. But that's the way it connects to what we're doing with what we're doing with safer, cleaner water.
I love it, but I love the fact that you call it a water pool. I
Yeah,
mean, come
right.
on, that is so freaking creative. And like that just makes me want to go, okay, let's do
Yeah,
something with you know
right.
what just came up to me? Because I know you talked about you and I doing an affiliate. What I'd like to do is if someone chooses to purchase through my affiliate link,
Hmm.
take the money that you pay me and put it in the water pool.
Awesome.
Like to me, I'd rather make that difference that
Right.
way. That I think, because I'm doing fine and I would love to be able to contribute to that. So, take whatever it is that I would make, whatever, I don't care what the number is,
Okay.
put it into the water pool.
Well,
Like
thank
I
you.
want to invest back in this because again, it makes my inner hippie so happy to
There you
know that
go.
I'm helping keep out plastic and helping people have safer, cleaner water. That's so cool. So,
There's so many ways emotionally attachment that attaches to this that you're
yeah.
helping so many. You're right. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I love this. And it's an easy way to give back.
Right.
It literally costs me nothing to be like, hey, if I know someone and I can send them your way and this ends up doing something, fan freaking tastic.
And with that thought, there's a lot of people have lots of contacts with the email list and such.
Mhm.
There's a way to do that where they could actually do the same thing, or if they desire, there's a way to actually make some compensation from that we can talk about when you give the information as far as how to
Absolutely.
contact me.
Well, that's the perfect. Let's segue into that then. So, for anybody who's interested, who's heard all of this, and you're interested in learning more about getting your own filtration system, please go check out safercleanerwater.com and you can use the coupon code BADASS. And that's all one word, all together, badass. to save a little money on your system, whichever one you pick. And then any affiliation money that I would make is going to get put into the water pool. Now, if you also are interested in saying, hey, I love this idea, this would work really well in my program or in association with the product or service that you personally are already selling and you'd like to affiliate with Mark, then what you're going to do is send an email to mark@safercleanerwater.com, and it's MARK, typical spelling of Mark. Send him an email and just say, hey, I heard you on Badass Direct Sales Mastery. I want to learn more about becoming an affiliate for your program. And do that. Like, hey, that's fantastic. And if you want to do what I'm doing and donate your affiliation back into the water pool, great, do it. The other thing is if you just want to go, hey, you know what? This is really cool. And I just want to donate to the water pool. You can go to safercleanerwater.com and follow the instructions there to donate to the water pool if you would like to do that. So, Mark, I so appreciate you being here and sharing your business concepts and what you're doing with the world to make it a better place and helping other humans be healthier and safer in their consumption of water. So thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. And of course, Badass Crew, you know how this goes. Stay tuned because there's another badass episode on its way.
Thanks for listening to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast with your direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger. Why are you waiting to go to badassdirectsalesmastery.com? Don't make the dom get her whip. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to share it with another rock star that you know in direct sales after you subscribe to the podcast so you won't miss any future episodes. You can also check out the show notes for links and any contact information mentioned in today's episode. We'll see you next time.